Hey, what's going on people? It's that time again where the season is coming to a close, so that means we're moving into Season 13, rumoured to be called Season of the Chosen. This is expected to be launched on February 9th, 2021. So it's definitely closing in on us quickly, which means it's time to prep. So guys, as usual, I'm Divide. This is your Season 13 prep guide, timestamps in the description. Roll the intro. Now briefly before we start, here's what we're looking at in each section. Finishing Season of the Hunt content. If you're familiar with my guides, we'll look at the seasonal content that's being removed. But as a reminder for time to come, we'll touch on features that you'll want to complete by the end of year 4, as well as a few tips and tricks to help you prep for next season. Stockpile, we'll look at the up-to-date materials you want to save, like memory fragments for any new stasis aspects coming in future seasons. And bounties, we'll go in depth about how you can make the most of your bounty hoarding to get a huge XP boost at the start of next season, gaining up to 25 levels on a season pass before even starting. So let's just jump into the first section. If you're a regular player, you'll know that as the season ends, most of its featured content will be removed alongside that. However, that's actually not the case this season and things are now changing. So what is being removed that we should get done now and make the most of the content we have? Well, firstly we have the Season Pass and rewards. As usual, the Season Pass will reset with new rewards, so if you're a Season Pass holder, you can get the new armor, ornaments, emotes, and all that good stuff. But I'd recommend getting to rank 100 to make the most of your Season Pass, and rank 200 for the plus 20 Triumph for Season 13. If you're looking for a good way to level up fast, my simple tip is to just do bounties like Gunsmith and Moon ones on the moon, as that's still a pretty easy method and there's not much hassle to it. Materials. This will be the phase glass needles, alkane dust, simulation seeds, and seraphite. Now these won't be removed, but they'll no longer be accepted for trading. So either spend them now or leave them to sit in the vault or inventory for no purpose, it's up to you. Crucible tokens. Bungie confirmed on the 15th of January that some vendors are going to be changing in regards to the reward system. So these tokens will no longer be used. So throw them all at shacks now before they become completely useless. Triumphs. There are a few seasonal related triumphs that reflect upon this season's content only, so get these done. You'll know which ones will expire as it tells you expires at the end of Season 13. However, the main ones to note are things like the Crucible, Gambit and Nightfall ones, as you can see here. Best to get these done if you don't want to miss any triumph score. Usually any limited time triumphs will be in the seasonal section of triumphs. Seals. Make sure to complete the Conqueror and Flawless title seals, as these are season limited and repeat each season with a new set of maps and strikes. Also to point out, they now award Triumph Score, so you'll potentially lose out on maximising your Triumph Score if you don't complete these before the season ends. Now a quick note for limited time content overall, you'll have some Triumphs, again, that will expire, but at the end of Season 15, which will be towards the end of Year 4 of Beyond Light. To make sure you don't miss out on content over the year, you should make sure you complete all the quests given to you from Season 12 to 15, as they could be limited to these seasons only. Now as of making this video, Bungie are changing the way the seasonal content works. Instead of removing everything like before, they are now keeping some of it. So I can't tell you 100% to go and do everything before the end of the season, but I would strongly recommend and advise getting everything you can done to avoid any unwanted changes or removals. The main things though you'll want to primarily focus on are quests, specifically the seasonal quests that you get and not the exotic ones, but doing both is a bonus. It's best to get them all done so you have more space for bounties and other new quests that come out next season. A quick tip though, I suggest keeping a fully charged lore ready for next season in case on the unlikely chance it remains as a pinnacle, but it'll probably be a powerful, so you'll be able to min-max gear to your gear level when grinding pinnacle gear. Also another thing to point out, there are a lot of weapons being sunset next season. I believe there are 21 weapons being sunset, but I'll link the full post to that in the description as well. In regards to prepping though, I'll check over all your weapons and armour so that you're ready for next season with no gear being capped at 1260 power. Unfortunately for me, my main weapon Traveler's Judgment is being sunset, which I'm really going to miss, but there are always replacements to farm right now. On that note, you should go ahead and farm for new weapons to replace the ones being sunset if they are your main weapons. I'll keep you updated in the comments and description of any news and changes for content removals. One last thing regarding new players and returning players, I strongly suggest doing all the new light quests. You start off the new light quest from the Tower Kiosk, which then leads to multiple quests afterwards. It's just a good way to familiarise yourself with the basics of the game if you're new, or if you're like me and just want to complete everything and make the most of it, then just go ahead and complete them. If you decide you don't care about any quests and just want to maximise your prep to have more slots for bounties and stuff next season, you can abandon the quests and it will return to the archive. Also, clear vault space. Perhaps it's finally time to say goodbye to those year 1 weapons you've been holding. Sad truth, it's probably never going to be used again. So clear up some space for new weapons and armour next season. And that about does it for seasonal content and a few prepping tips, so now let's move on to Stockpile. With the introduction of Beyond Light came along new materials like memory fragments, and Bungie said that we should expect to see more types of fragments or aspects unlocking for subclasses over the coming seasons. So here I've put together a list of the classic materials and some new and less important ones that we can stockpile and should be stockpiling. So here's a list, and as usual, we'll break it down. Glimmer, legendary shards, mod components, enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, ascendant shards, upgrade modules, planetary materials, bright dust, memory fragments, exotic ciphers, spoils of conquest, and raid banners. Starting with Glimmer, like all my previous guides, nothing has really changed in terms of stockpiling most materials, so we can continue to do so. To stockpile Glimmer, you'll want to maximise your Glimmer to 250,000. You can do so by gaining this from everything you do in the game, but the most common way to get Glimmer is to buy it from Spider for shards or materials. But it doesn't end there. Once you've got max Glimmer, simply buy the Overdrive or other side Sparrow and then store them in the vault. This will act like a bank account, because when you sell that Sparrow, you're getting most of what you paid for back. Although this is no longer essential since they raised the Glimmer cap to 250,000, it's still a neat trick if you want to stockpile more in case you ever run out. How this method works is you buy the Glimmer from Spider, buy the Sparrow, move them to the vault by Destiny Item Manager, and repeat. Selling a bought Sparrow will refund you 5,000 Glimmer and 5 shards, so you're only losing 2,500 Glimmer. For reference, 50 of these Sparrows in the vault will be stockpiling 250,000 Glimmer and 250 shards, wasting only 125,000 Glimmer in total. So max out your Glimmer this season and keep some Sparrows in the vault for next season. For legendary shards, the more you have, the better. Previously, your most common way to gain these would be from Season 11 Zumble Ingrams, but this is no longer a method you can do. So currently your best way to gain legendary shards, in my opinion, is to farm out Wrathborn hunts. You can choose to farm weapons and then dismantle them for shards. In addition to that, you'll be gaining faction rep with the Crow to gain additional legendary Ingrams. Otherwise, just playing the game in general, farming strikes and doing powerful gear and challenges is just as quick. For players like myself who have played for years may have tens of thousands of shards, so it may be harder for newer players to stockpile. So my recommendation is to just save them and don't waste them on unnecessary things. Moving on to mod components. Previously, you were able to buy them directly from Ada 1, but now the only best method is to just do Gunsmith bounties. These aren't really as important anymore, so don't worry if you can't stockpile a significant amount. Enhancement cores, you get these from dismantling masterwork gear and a chance from legendary gear, the Clangram weekly challenge, Gunsmith bounties, Nightfalls, or buy them from Spider. Enhancement prisms, you can find these in a Nightfall ordeal, buy them from Spider, which is new, which I wouldn't recommend, or exchange them at Gunsmith. You can only keep 50 in your inventory at one time, but an additional 50 per character in the Postmaster. To do this, maximise your prisms to 50, then complete the Pit of Heresy boss to get the Masterwork piece and dismantle it. The prisms then go to the Postmaster of that character. Do this for all 3 characters to stockpile up to 200 enhancement prisms. In addition to that, if you want to be greedy and have maxed out that, you can continue to farm the Pit boss once per character 3 times per week, and put the gear in the vault to dismantle it when needed. Note that you'll want to do this as much as possible now, because next season the Pit will no longer drop Masterwork gear. For Ascendant shards, your quickest way to farm this is to do the Master or Grandmaster Nightfalls, so farm these out. You're better off doing it during the double Nightfall reward week next time it comes around. Otherwise, you can buy them from Gunsmith if you're lazy like me, but it's costly. You can stock 10 of these in your inventory and another 10 in the Postmaster, so 40 in total. They'll go directly to the Postmaster when your inventory is full, so farm Nightfalls on each character to maximise that. Next up, upgrade modules. The most important, as they're used for infusing gear, which you'll probably go through hundreds next season. To get these, you can buy them from Gunsmith at the tower. You can only keep 25 of these. And for planetary materials, the ones you want to keep are the EDZ, Nessus, Tangled Shore, Dreamin' City, the Moon, Cosmodrome, and Europa. You can buy these from Spider or collect them at their destinations. You can also complete activities like patrols or bounties within the planets as well. Keep a few thousand of each. Bright Dust. If you haven't already, get all the Bright Dust from the Season Pass, and I mean it. They literally throw you so much Bright Dust as if there's going to be no tomorrow. Anyway, stock up on Bright Dust if you care about getting the new Eververse items next season. If you are wanting so much Bright Dust as possible, do the weekly bounties for Strikes, Crucible and Gambit, otherwise hold them for bounty prepping. Finally, the last and new material you want to save are the memory fragments. There's not much info on this about saving them, so nobody knows if it's really something we can do, but it's something we can try. So you'll want to complete the weekly quests that you get from the Exo Stranger to get these memory fragments, then buy all the stasis fragments you don't have until there's nothing left to buy, and simply keep any fragments left over in your inventory. Another trick, but again we don't know if this is going to work yet, is to keep the quest to near completed, then complete it for a fragment next season, if and when new fragments become available. Other things you could potentially keep are an exotic cipher, raid banners, and spoils of conquest, as all are a bonus to have when you end up using them next. They're not essential, but it's worth having a few. But that's all for Stockpile, so now let's bounty grind. When it comes to bounty prepping, it's all about time. How much time are you willing to put in? The more time and effort you put in, the better the outcome. Although you're limited to 63 potential bounties to hold, it's all about efficiency. What are the best bounties to hold? Well, I'm going to go through just that and show you how you can hold up to 25 season pass levels before even starting a new content. But firstly, if you're someone who doesn't want to spend a bit of time prepping bounties but still wants some XP for a startup boost next season, then my advice is simple. Complete and hold as many bounties as possible, but don't hand them in until next season. Even if that's just one daily bounty, all the XP adds up. Also, a quick important note, as I'm making this video, Bungie haven't yet stated any changes with bounties. So for this purpose, I'm making this guide based on it working for previous seasons, but I thought I should point this out because it appears they may remove weekly bounties next season. They teased this back last year that this would be coming, and the recent TWAB reveals that Shaxx no longer has weekly bounties, so just something I want to address so I'm not giving out incorrect information. I'll keep you updated in the comments and description if anything changes, so if you want the classic bounty prep guide, then here it is. So let's just get started already. So to maximise your XP next season, you want to pick up the following bounties. 2 weekly Vanguard bounties, 6 daily Vanguard bounties, 2 weekly Crucible, 6 daily Crucible, 2 weekly Gambit, 6 daily Gambit, 2 weekly Gunsmith, 6 daily Gunsmith, the 2 Moon weeklies, the 2 Nightmare weeklies, the 2 Cosmodrome weeklies, the 2 Europa weeklies, all the Clan XP bounties, and the 2 Crows weekly bounties. Whew, get all that? I wouldn't recommend doing the Iron Banner or Trials bounties, but if you have them, it's probably a bonus. Fill all your remaining bounties with Moon Daily and Planet Dailies. Do this all before the weekly reset. Complete all the bounties but don't hand them in. You should now be holding 22 weekly bounties and 24 dailies. At the next weekly reset, you want to pick up any new weekly bounties that are available. Do this every weekly reset until the end of the season, and if you're lucky you could be holding, well, actually probably all weekly bounties, but you want to ensure priority is given to the Vanguard, Crucible, Gambit and Gunsmith to make sure you have a total of 8 bounties, weekly or daily. This is so you can complete the tower challenges for those instantly next season. That's additional XP. Not only are you gaining valuable XP, but you're saving yourself hours of content grinding in the first week because all 4 tower challenges and the clan XP will have already been completed and ready to collect your reward. If for some reason you run out of bounty space, then remove daily bounties to prioritise for weekly ones. Prioritise bounties in this order: Iron Banner, weekly, daily, then repeatables. Weekly bounties give 12,000 XP, dailies give 6,000, and repeatables give you 4,000. I will leave a link to the complete values of all bounties in the description if you want to be the most efficient with your XP prep. Finally, let's review quickly what we've gone over with some prepping tips. Treat this like your TL'DR version. So you want to finish all your seasonal content, that being quests, getting your seasonal armour and weapons, finding your new weapon god rolls and so on. You want to clear your vault space. Perhaps it's time to say goodbye to your year 1 to 3 weapons. Stockpile all your resources and materials, mostly the more costly ones like Ascendant Shards and upgrade modules, and save as many bounties as you can, mostly being non-Bright Dust weekly bounties and fill in the rest with dailies. When you start next season, make sure you have a Ghost Shell with the maximum XP boost you can have equipped. Be in a fire team for bonus XP when leveling up, and don't hand in your bounties for XP until you have got the new seasonal artifact. Very important. So that is your ultimate Season 13 prep guide for Destiny 2 Beyond Light with my experience from prepping in all the previous seasons in Destiny 2. I hope you found this one useful. If you did, give a thumbs up. If you didn't, click the thumbs down twice or leave a comment. But now that's everything. Subscribe for more and well, I'll see you in the next video. I hope.